How you doing? It's kind of a rainy day out, so I thought I'd take a moment and show you how to make seed pots out of Brussels sprout leaves. I've got one plant that's sort of crowding out some other plants in the garden, so I cut some leaves off and I made some seed pots. Here's one that's already done. You can see it's got soil in there and it's ready to be planted with some seeds. This is kind of cool, I think. It's probably, just about the ultimate in sustainability. And what you do is you take Brussels sprout leaves, and these I cut off from the bottom of one plant. And you can see they're very healthy plants. And this is part of what makes these seed pots possible, is to use really healthy leaves. If you want to make your garden soil more healthy, check out some of my other videos on my YouTube channel, because I really strive to make healthy soil, and the product of that is nice healthy plants. So I cut off a bunch of leaves, and each leaf makes 2 pots. Let me show you what you do. You start by cutting the leaf along the rib, just like this. Does not have to be perfect at all. This isn't, each little pot comes out different, and that's fine. So that's one. And there's 2. I use a scissors. It works great. You end up with a bunch of little things like this when you're done. So there's 2, and I put them all in a tray when I was done, and I just sprinkled some water on them. It's kind of a cool day, so I'm not worried about wilting, but if it was a little hotter, I'd want to keep these moist so they don't wilt until they get made into pots. So the next thing we want to do is, see, there's sort of a straight side here, and we want to get this more into a rectangle shape. So I'm going to cut this edge flat or straight. And then I'm going to cut off this end. Cut off this end. And we end up more with a rectangle shape. Next thing you want to do is make it into a cylinder like this. And you can see it's just overlapped. Not too much, just a little bit, maybe an inch or a couple 3 centimeters. Sometimes this will be the top. Sometimes these edges get a little funky, so you gotta decide which makes a better shape on the top. I think this one doesn't matter. So the next thing you do, you hold it at the joint right here, and all you want to do is fold this in, and you're going to fold and push it in, push it past the bottom, because there's really not much holding it together on the bottom. So what we want to do is fold it up into itself. You can see how that is, like that. It's being held together because it's pushed all inside. Now the next thing is, this joint right here wants to come apart. So what I did is I took a little piece of wood and I shaved some toothpick-like pieces off of it, like this. I also thought I could use a little stick with a pointed end, or I could just use a toothpick. Just to make this a more sustainable project, I'm going to use a little piece of wood. You see how this wants to come out. I'm going to push that back in. And I'm going to kind of like do a little sewing motion. I'm going to push it in from the inside and then push it back through. And that's going to hold that joint together. So there's a little seed pot. Let me make one more. Okay, here's the other half of the leaf. And again, I'm going to cut the top to make it a little straight. I'm going to cut the end off to square it up. And I'm left with a little rectangle. Next thing I'm going to do is make it into a cylinder. That looks good. And I'm going to hold it at this joint. I'm going to put my finger inside along the joint, and I'm going to fold that in. Then I'm just going to keep folding the other sides in. It's okay if I don't know if you can hear that, but the leaf is kind of like cracking and bending. That's fine. So I folded it into itself. I folded everything in. And that's going to help hold it together. Next thing I'm going to use a stick this time. And I just pointed this end off with a knife. I'm going to push it through from the inside. And then push it back through. That's like a little stitch to hold it together. And there's another one. Alright, after they're all made, the next step is to put seed starting mix in there. So I like to do it like this, where you put the pot in the starting mix and fill it up like that. And if the leaves are real wet, which these aren't, I just dip it in water. But and that kind of washes off some of the dirt on the leaves. But these are doing fine. They're not wet, so I'm not going to do that on that one. I just have this water here just in case, and I'll just keep filling these with seed starting mix, just like that. Alright, so they're filled with soil, and now I'll just water and get the soil moist. Let that soak in. You want to get the soil good and moist so the seeds germinate nice. It'll also help keep the leaf moist and stay together. I would recommend using seeds that are going to be in these pots no longer than 4 weeks. If they remain in there much longer, they're just going to get more degraded. But they work great for tomatoes. There's things that germinate in about a week that they're going to be transplanted in 2 to 4 weeks. They stay together real nice. It's definitely a sustainable idea. I grew these Brussels sprouts from seed, and now I'm using them to make more plants. Okay, so here's one I just made. You can see it's got the little stick on one side and holding it together. It's got soil in it. These are ready to be planted with seeds. Okay, and here they are planted with tomato seeds. I've got 4 different types of tomatoes planted here, and I've got them growing under grow lights. Let's see how they do. And here they are after 1 week, and you can see I've got some sprouts coming up. There's 4 different kinds of tomatoes. I've still got them under grow lights and a dome cover. And once they get just a little bigger, I'll probably take off the dome and just let them be under the grow lights. And here they are after 2 weeks. And you can see the leaves are discoloring. I guess that would be expected. I think this is a cool experiment for sustainability. The tomatoes are actually doing great. They're nice and tall, pretty healthy. So I'm just going to keep this going and see what happens. Alright, it's been about 3 weeks since I planted these tomato seeds, and they look awesome. First of all, they're a nice deep green color. If I take one of these pots, you can see how the plant is growing. It's got several true leaves. I usually don't get this much growth in 3 weeks when I plant seeds, so I'm really happy about this. You can see how the leaf has discolored, turned brown. It's I guess you would say it's biodegrading. You know, this is definitely a sustainable way of planting seedlings. You can see how on the sides of and the bottoms of some of these, you got roots growing through. So I see no need, obviously, to take this leaf off. I'm just going to plant them directly in little pots. This is really cool. So let's go ahead and get these potted up. Look at the growth on this. Look how nice deep green these are. I planted several seeds in these, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 came up. There's one there that's looks like it's trying to do something. It's just incredible. You can see this really is degrading, which is fine. So there you go. Free, sustainable, biodegradable Brussels sprout leaf seed pots. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and check out other videos on my YouTube channel for gardening hacks and vegetable gardening. Thanks for watching.